Well, in the last year or so, there has been massive rumblings of this show, Ted Lasso, that many of you have watched. And with that, there have been rumblings among those in the construction industry, the contractor industry, the rumblings of scheduling, and those two things merging together. And I asked the question, how Ted Lasso might build a construction schedule or any other schedule for delivering his product. Hey, it's Scott Beebe with Business on Purpose, where it's our aim to help liberate you from chaos. Hey, take about 5-7 minutes. If you're a business owner, go to mybusinessonpurpose.com/healthy, and you can take the Healthy Owner Assessment. It will actually give you a metric of the health of your business. Dani Rojas steps up to the ball as he prepares for a game-winning penalty kick. And in one last deep breath moment, he calms himself and exhales with his infamous dogma preached repeatedly on the Ted Lasso sports comedy drama, saying simply and profoundly, football is life. For Dani, when the game seems out of control and life seems complicated, unfair, and uncomfortable, he calms himself and retreats back to his basic truth. Football is life. The show Ted Lasso has provided a pandemic-confused world a bit of a respite of breath with profound insight packaged in off-color but understandable humor. When Ted Lasso meets chaos, there's always a bypass to peace somewhere nearby. Dani Rojas reminds himself of that bypass with his football is life enunciation. For business owners, and particularly those in the construction contractor, the outside the dirt world, if you will, that of hammers, nails, bricks, and sticks, or any processed material delivery or service delivery industry, the chaos of material delays, price increases, frustrated project managers and superintendents, client expectations, and global unpredictability have given rise to the schedule unpredictability complex. But what is a schedule? Well, its very basic definition from dictionary.com is this. It's a plan for carrying out a process. That's it. The definition of a schedule is a plan for carrying out a process. In any business, every schedule should be a culmination of two parts. The processes needed to be achieved, that's part one, and the dates and sequence by which those processes should be started and completed. A schedule is a pre-mapped plan that includes the right processes in the right sequence, happening on the right timeline. And in order to build such a pre-mapped plan, your schedule must be informed by three pieces of information: past, present, and future. Past information and experience allows you to more easily navigate trends that have been true up until now. If material procurement for windows in the past has a normal delivery turnaround of, let's say, 7 days, then you pencil in your plan window of 7 to 14 days out. But wait, some of you are thinking, well, it's not that anymore. Now window delivery times are upwards of 6 months. That brings us to the present and future information. Present information and experience allows you to see what is really happening in today's environment, allowing you to adjust to what you think may come true in the future. If window delivery times are now 6 months, then you adjust your planning based on the latest information you have. The base scheduling projections on the cocktail look like this: past experience plus present reality plus future projections equal a communicated schedule. Now, you have three options in preparing a schedule for you, your team, or your customer. Option one is to create a schedule with the best information you have, update it daily or weekly, and communicate it with clarity or repetition. Option two, you can create a schedule with the best information you have, but do not update it and do not communicate it well. Option three, do not put in the hard work of creating a schedule with the best information you have, and of course, you won't communicate it because you don't have it. This upheaval culture that we have navigated in a post-pandemic reality has turned past partners into current and future enemies. The ideal setup was that the contractor, the client, the partners were all team in coordination. Much of that has been twisted where the client and partners have become the enemy of one another. An aligned, well-prepared, often updated, well-communicated schedule will bring the partnership mindset back into play and allow for the production or construction process to be far more enjoyable and profitable. In the same way, Dani Rojas proclaims that football is life. You must believe that in your business, schedule is life. If a project is budgeted to be completed in 12 months and it takes 13 months, most would simply look at that and just think, well, that stinks, but we're still billing for the project in its full amount. There's a challenge. By adding that extra month to the project, billing essentially decreased by about, let's say 8% or so, because although the project amount will still be received, there was an entire extra month of fixed overhead added to the project because of that delay. While the schedule can be delayed, the project can be delayed. Payroll and all other business overhead continues to be paid. The 8% in many cases eats into much of the profit of the job, and eventually, with more delays, the company just performed that project, either breaking even or in a situation where it actually spent its own money to complete the project. So how do you build a construction schedule or any production schedule that will bring clarity and make time for what matters most? The secret has more to do with the time you set aside than the innovation needed. 4 things. Number 1, you must block time to think through it and build it. Just last week, I was leading a business team through an exercise in helping each team member build their own weekly schedule around their role. While many were skeptical and such pie-in-the-sky exercise would actually work day to day, the team had real wind in their sails when the director of construction pulled out his physical weekly schedule, held it up, and declared, "This works, but it only works if you build it and use it." In order to build it, you must make time and do it. The second thing, you must block time to update it. That same director of construction, after months of living out and refining his own weekly schedule, then took it a step further. After blocking time to think and build, created a simple spreadsheet listing out a typical construction billing cycle based on the cocktail of historical experience, present delays, and future projections. It's not perfect because it cannot be perfect, but it's much closer to useful than nothing at all. He updates his weekly schedule every month, and he updates his billing cycle sheet now every week. The time to work on his schedule is actually blocked in his schedule. The third thing, you must act both on the information you have today and build contingency on the information you could have tomorrow. Hey, stop longing for the past, bemoaning the present, and laboring over perfect projections of the future. Instead, take what you know from the past to be true, listen to what you're seeing in the present right now, and also listen to what you might be hearing about the future. Mix that cocktail and build the best schedule you can based on the information you have. The final thing, you must communicate your schedule. You must communicate its fluctuations, and you must communicate it early and often. Over-communication will help cover a well-thought but ultimately imperfect schedule. Clients, vendors, partners will have far more grace and forgiveness for a schedule-centered process that gets altered by forces outside of your control than they will have grace and forgiveness for a poorly communicated schedule where you have no defense and everything will seem like your fault. Communicate when you are going to communicate. Communicate when you're going to communicate. Tell them what you're going to do. Tell them what you're doing, even if it's nothing at all, and tell them what you did. Over-communicate. Your schedule is your silver bullet. It's all you've got. Try to wing it, and it will send you straight to the ground. But build it thoughtfully and communicate it well, and that you will find, like Dani Rojas, that schedule is life, and you will bury it in the back of the net. Make sure you take 7 minutes. Go visit our healthy assessment, mybusinessonpurpose.com/healthy.